Ambition, ambition. But too many of us back away from it because it got made bad. If you have ambition too big for your britches, people start insulting you. Who do you think you are? Oh, you think you can do that? You don't even have any skill at that. You think you can do that? You don't have the environment, you don't have the money, you don't have the bank account, you don't have the credit. And people start puking on you when you share your big dream with them. You're like, hey, look, no, listen, I'm trying to go up here. This is where I want to be, right here. I got this dream, it's huge. I got this ambition, this dream, this hunger for more. And immediately people seek to see whether or not you are qualified. And they judge you based on your past of qualification versus your present of how you show up.
For all people to recognize that you're not who you were a year ago. You're not who you were 5 years ago. You're not who you were last week. You're who you are now, and this is the only you have control over.
Most of you are not doing what you want to do with your life because you're worried about somebody else's opinion.
The number one addiction in the world today is the addiction to other people's approval, and that's because we don't approve of ourselves.
The only way you ultimately make things better for you is, man, you start believing in you, and you don't let all the negatives drag you down, and you don't let all the noise distract you.
You've got ambitions important to you and your family and the people you're serving, and it doesn't matter what I say or the person to your left or right says. If you own that ambition, you pursue it, and you pursue it with full heart. And when you pursue it with more heart, that ambition, that keeps sparking over and over and over. You don't have to rev yourself up because it is you.
But you start building those skills and not listen to your parents and not listen to your teachers and not listen to your friends. Respect it, but don't let anybody impose their way on you. It's you. You're with yourself, and you've got to make yourself happy first.
If you can think and speak and write, you are absolutely deadly. Nothing can get in your way.
So if you want to make a change, you have to change your vision of who you are. You have to begin telling yourself a different narrative. And the narrative you tell yourself about yourself is everything.
Nothing anyone could ever do to you, nothing anyone could ever say to you, nothing, no lie anyone has ever told you could ever diminish your worth as a human being.
But you gotta be willing to dream big enough to scare yourself. If your dreams don't scare you, you ain't dreaming big enough. If you already know the how, you're not dreaming big enough. Your why should be so big, your what should be so big that you sit back and go, now how am I gonna do that?
And what happens is we have this big aspiration, but because we don't know the how, sometimes someone tells us you don't know the how, so what do? If you don't know the how, you minimize it.
My question for you is, who controls your thoughts? Who controls your thinkings? Who do you give the keys to your brain to?
If you worry about what people think of you, it's because you have more confidence in their opinion than you have of your own.
What I'm trying to tell you is to be an individual. Think for yourself at all times, because remember, that's the way to get out of a cult.
When I see a person that quits quickly, they have low self-confidence, low self-esteem.
If you know who you are, then by nature, you'll probably bet on your strengths. If you bet on your strengths, you'll win.
Whenever you look at somebody that's been successful, do not allow yourself to make them extraordinary at your expense. You're capable of whatever it is that they're capable of. But it comes down to the mental constructs that you're going to have to build and leverage in your own mind in order to do something great. You can create yourself. In fact, no one else is going to create you.
It's your job to make yourself do the crap you don't want to do so you can be everything that you're supposed to be.
And when people tell you you can't, You don't look at them. You don't need to look at them. You look in the mirror and you ask yourself, do you give it your all? You ask yourself, do you have the guts to go after it when no one is watching, no one's patting you on the back, and no one is liking your stuff on freaking social media? If you got the guts to go after it, you can put yourself in the best position to win.
What your actions do and what you do with your life speak louder than any of your words. That defines who you are.
Ambition. Ambition.
Do not allow yourself to be marginalized and defined by other people's agendas and intentions, because the power of your story lies in your personal intention.
As Thomas Jefferson said, "He who knows best knows just how little he knows." And this has been one of the most surreal things about my experience as an entrepreneur, is that the better I get at it, the more that I do, the more I feel lost, the more I feel like there's too much for me to possibly know and understand. And in that is my power. That's literally the source of my power, because I understand that my journey is one of learning. I understand that, as Naval Ravikant said, the genuine love for reading itself, when cultivated, is a superpower. The means of learning are abundant. It's the desire to learn that's scarce. But if you have that desire, if you cultivate that desire to learn, if you accept that you're in this big world that is far too big for you to understand every piece of it, but in recognizing that you don't understand it all and putting yourself on this quest to learn obsessively, to get better, to fall in love with the actual process of gaining knowledge, if you stay hungry for that at all times and you don't calcify your thoughts into dogma, but rather stay fresh, stay naive, stay hungry and foolish to really learn and grow, then you actually obtain power. And this is the part I want people to understand. Look past the words and hear what I'm really saying. As you take on the knowledge, as you're learning one thing after another, those skills have practical application. And it is that practical application, born of understanding how little you really know, that allows you to become far more powerful than the people that think they know. Because when they think they know, they stop growing. When they think they know, they calcify. When they think they know, their thoughts get brittle like bone and break. But when you think you know nothing, when you think you have to learn everything, when you're really just trying to figure out if something works, if it gets you the result, then those skills become real. They become tested by what you're doing. They are boundless because you're always trying to find that next thing. You're never self-satisfied. You're never self-congratulatory. You're simply asking, where do I want to go? What skills do I need to acquire to get there? And knowing that each one of those that you get, brick by brick by brick, builds a real path to where you want to go. So fall in love with the idea that you know nothing. Fall in love with the idea that learning is a superpower. Fall in love with that hunger. Want to get better every day. Never be tricked by the desire to be self-satisfied. Never be tricked by the desire to be great today. Never fool yourself into thinking who you are today is who you can become. I don't care how far you've come. I don't care how many accomplishments are in your rearview mirror. If you fall prey to that, your past will always be bigger than your future. And there is one mandate that I make of myself and anyone else that wants to be around me. Your future must always be bigger than your past. And the only way for that to be true is to love how little you really know, and to love how much you can learn if you just keep going.